Welcome to the webinar that connects the Daily 5 and Cafe programs to Reach for Reading. Today I would like to describe the Daily 5 and Cafe programs and discuss how they fit into the literacy block. I will also show how Reach for Reading is a great support for both of these programs. As I work with classroom teachers, I continually hear, how do I keep up? I have Common Core State Standards, I have Daily 5 and Cafe, and I have a new reading program. How do I balance all of these? Well, the good news is they are not separate things. As we look at the literary shifts found with the Common Core State Standards, we see, first, the balance of informational and literary text. This shift involves reading more informational text, which Reach for Reading will provide the teacher with. The second shift is to build knowledge in the disciplines. Reach for Reading provides topics in both science and social studies and provides teaching strategies for finding evidence in nonfiction texts. The third shift is the staircase of text complexity. Reach for Reading provides classroom libraries and resources for teachers to provide the right match for our readers and writers. The fourth shift is text-based answers. This shift gives greater focus to text-to-text connections rather than text-to-self. Reach for Reading emphasizes the importance of returning to the text with second and third readings and provides strategies for teachers to encourage students to find evidence and support for arguments they are building. Shift 5 is writing from sources. This shift is about finding evidence-based support to probing questions. The Reach for Reading daily writing questions and prompts support this shift. Shift number 6 is academic vocabulary. The daily spelling and word work in Reach for Reading supports this greater emphasis on Tier 2 or academic vocabulary and Tier 3 content-specific vocabulary. Again, I emphasize to teachers that these are not extra or separate, but rather Common Core State Standards, Daily 5 and Cafe, and Reach for Reading can all be integrated as one. Guided reading has been part of the reading block for many years. Reggie Routman's concern was not with guided reading, but rather what are the other students doing while the teacher works with small groups or individual students. This was also the concern for Gail Boucher and Joan Moser in their classrooms, and this is where Daily 5, which emphasizes the other kids, came from, and later the Cafe book, which emphasizes the small group and individual lessons. So let's start with Daily 5. Daily 5 is a series of literacy tasks that students choose from and work on independently while the teacher works with small groups or confers with individual students. The Daily 5 are read to self, read to someone, work on writing, listen to reading, spelling and word work. The sisters, as they are referred to, and they are actually sisters, they have developed anchor lessons to explicitly teach each of the 5 areas. The importance here is that students do the activities independently. Before teachers begin Daily 5, the sisters emphasize the importance of setting up classroom libraries and teaching students how to choose what they call good fit books. The anchor lessons they developed is called the I Pick lesson. The I stands for I pick a book. The P is for purpose. Students ask themselves, why do I want to read this book? And I is for interest. Students ask themselves, does this book interest me? The C is for comprehend. The students ask themselves, am I understanding it? And the K is for know. The students ask themselves, do I know most of the words? Reach for Reading has several resources that can assist teachers in setting up their classroom libraries. The reading level translation key uses reading levels that can be matched with the Common Core State Standard Lexile bands by grade level. This will assist teachers in the text complexity piece. On the teacher side of MyNG Connect, under Resource Directory, they will find student interest surveys. The leveled book finder assists in matching readers with selections. The genres Books at a Glance provide a variety of text selections. Teachers begin the year by setting up book boxes or bags for each student, and as the year progresses, students and teachers partner to replenish books during their individual conferencing times. You see here examples of how teachers have set up their classrooms. The classroom libraries are very important to the success of Daily 5. Now that the classroom library is set up, the teacher looks at each of the Daily 5 literacy choices. Each of these are explicitly taught and modeled as whole group lessons and are phased in during the first part of the year. We will now go through each of the Daily 5 tasks. The first task is Read to Self. For this area, the students are taught 3 ways to read to self. 1. To read and talk about the pictures. 2. To read the words themselves. 3. Reread and retell a previously read book. Teachers set up choices for students within each of these categories. Resources from Reach for Reading that teachers could consider for this one are the Student Anthology and e-book, the small group readers. There are 100 fiction and nonfiction selections at each grade level. At grades 3 through 5, we have the Explorer book collection. There are 32 titles available at 2 different reading levels. And we have the Comprehension Coach, where students can actually go in and record their own reading. The second task in Daily 5 is Read to Someone. In this area, students are taught 1. I read, you read. 2. Choral readings. 3. Reading from one book. 4. Reading from different books. And 5. Check for understanding. And in this area, students are taught how to be reading coaches for each other. Resources teachers could consider from Reach for Reading are the Leveled Readers, both fiction and nonfiction. Again, the Explorer book collection. Also, there are activities within each of the learning stations in each of the units. The Best Practice Books is an excellent resource for strategies in teaching echo reading, choral reading, and paired reading. The Comprehension Coach, again, where students can record their own reading. And the learning stations and teamwork activities also provide lessons and strategies in echo reading, choral reading, and paired reading. Another task in the Daily 5 is Work on Writing. In this section, teachers discuss and model daily writing. The sisters emphasize the importance of giving students choice in writing. Reach for Reading has many supports in this area. The Power Writing and the Daily Writing, the writing projects for each unit. There is Author Study and Author's Craft. Teamwork and activity cards have writing activities. And MyNG Connect has Magazine Maker included. Listen to Reading is another task within Daily 5. In this area, the focus is on language fluency. Resources from Reach for Reading that the teacher could consider are Read With Me selections, both CDs and MP3 format. MyNG Connect, the Comprehension Coach piece. I also think the background videos could be considered here for ELL or struggling students. The last task within Daily 5 is the spelling and word work. In this area, students are taught 1. To experiment with words for learning and practice using spelling patterns. 2. Work with high-frequency words. 3. Generalize spelling patterns. And 4. To work with unique and interesting words. I am sure you're all thinking of the many resources that could be used here. Some I listed are the Daily Spelling and Word Work Grammar sections. In MyNG Connect, there are several pieces that could be used. There is My Vocabulary Notebook. There are vocabulary games. There are phonics games. There's a word builder section, and there is a digital library. Also included could be a word builder app. And the Anthology Picture Dictionary could be used. The sound and spelling cards are included. There are phonics and picture cards that also could be used within this area. That is a quick summary of the Daily 5. Remember, the Daily 5 are the learning stations that students do independently while the teacher works with individual or small groups. The Daily 5 can be used independently on its own or in conjunction with CAFE. CAFE is an acronym for Comprehension, Accuracy, Fluency, and Expand Vocabulary. CAFE provides structure for conferring, a language for talking about reading development, and a system for tracking growth and fostering student independence. The core elements of CAFE are 1. The record-keeping notebook, 2. Conferencing with individual students, 3. Small group instruction, and 4. Whole group instruction. Daily 5 is mainly what students do. CAFE is what teachers do. In classrooms doing CAFE, you will see a CAFE acronym chart posted. Under the comprehension section is I can understand what I read. Under the accuracy section is I can read the words. Under fluency is I can read accurately with expression and understand what I read. And under expand vocabulary, I know, find, and use interesting words. The sisters have developed a CAFE menu of strategies, which I will show you shortly. Each strategy is taught explicitly and then added to this chart in student-friendly language. Reach for Reading does a great job in supporting CAFE as well. We will look at Reach for Reading support of the record-keeping notebook and the variety of supports for strategy groups. The sisters refer to their notebook as their pensive. One of their students labeled it for them. He said their notebook was just like Dumbledore's vessel in Harry Potter. His vessel held all his greatest thoughts and memories. The sisters loved it, and now this notebook has a name.